Jimmy, sort of represented for me all of the ambition and craziness of youth. He really was the 1920s. That whole go-getter attitude of this guy who is smart, bright kid, full of ambition, who then gets twisted by his involvement in World War One. I mean, his kid could have been on this completely different career path and this different trajectory, and then gets pulled out and subjected to this horrific experience of being in the trenches during World War One. And we did a flashback episode at the end of season 2 where Michael Pitt's character goes back. You see him as a college student at Princeton, and Michael was so brilliant in this episode. He became a different person. You saw this young, sensitive kid before he became the Jimmy Normandy who spent a year first before the incest with his mother, and then before the year fighting in the war in the trenches, and just the innocence lost there is so palpable. You just see it, and Michael just did such a brilliant job portraying that. Early to midway through season 2, I mean, I knew always that Jimmy would die, and I knew always that Nucky would kill him. In the pilot, Jimmy says to Nucky, "You can't be half a gangster anymore. You've got to, if you're going to survive in the new world with prohibition and all these guys willing to kill for alcohol, you are going to get eaten alive. So you either have to commit to being a gangster and roll with that, or you'll die. And you need a guy like me to do it." And I knew at one point Nucky was ultimately going to take his advice and become a gangster, and the thing that was going to make him cross that line was putting a bullet in Jimmy's head. I didn't know when it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be as early as the end of season 2. Midway through season 2, just the way the story was going, I thought, if Nucky doesn't kill this kid by the end of this season, I don't believe this. This is bullshit. This is TV. And I didn't want it to be TV. It is TV, of course, but I didn't want it to be. I didn't want it to feel like a TV show. I just, this has got to feel real. And if we're asking people to believe that Nucky's a gangster, this is going to end with Jimmy Darmody getting killed, and Nucky's going to kill him. And it was a really hard decision to make, and it was a really big decision, for HBO. And I thought, this is going to be really hard to sell this. I pitched it to Marty. He thought it was great. Everybody internally thought it was great, big, ballsy. But, we're killing the second lead of our show, and it's Michael Pitt, and, he's such a big part of the series. And I know I've always been saying, like, I don't want to let's make it harder for ourselves as writers, not easier. The easy thing is to keep them alive. The hard thing is to say, now what? So let's go, now what? And I said, all right, I'm going to get on the phone, and I had this big speech prepared for Michael Lombardo, similar to my David Chase, can I direct speech? I was going to give him this whole spiel about why we should kill Michael. And I said, or Jimmy, I said, Mike, I made a big decision for the show. I'm very excited about it, but I would like to talk to you. I said, I think Nucky needs to kill Jimmy at the end of season 2 in episode 12. And there was a couple of seconds of silence, and Mike Lombardo said, wow, that is going to be such a great moment for Nucky. And I said, yeah, right? He goes, that is great. Wow, it's so ballsy. And I said, well, let me hang up before he changes his mind. I said, okay, well, that's what we're going to do. And then, we talked about it for a few more minutes after that. And he said, okay, if you're sure this is the way you want to go. I said, yeah, I'm really sure. I thought about it for a long time, and I think this is going to be a big moment. He said, all right, great. So we committed to it, and then it was just a question of actually getting it done and then keeping it secret for months, which we did. And I'm glad, and it was incredibly shocking to people. And I was more when the uproar started, I was more convinced than ever that we did the right thing. I said, if I gut punched people this badly, I know this is the kind of stuff that I love. You made me almost fall out of my chair. Whether it's anger or heartbreak or shock or hilarity, if you can move an audience like that, then you did your job. And that was a big thing. And then it was the question was, okay, now what? And then now what was, okay, we need somebody. It's sort of like being a magician. I'm entertaining you and I'm making you look over here, and here's Jimmy Darmody, and it's like, oh wait, look at this, and you go, oh, forget about that. Who's that guy? And that's the guy we needed. And then going into season 3. We needed a character that was going to take your mind off of Jimmy Darmody, because people couldn't foresee this. Well, this show's going to be so different. And I said, well, if the show's still entertaining, first of all, the same people who made you care about Jimmy Darmody are going to hopefully make you care about something else. So that's the same group here. So we're going to entertain you in a different way. And if you're being entertained, you're not thinking about, if you're enjoying a hamburger, you're not thinking about the grilled cheese sandwich you ate yesterday. You're thinking about the hamburger, unless the hamburger is really shit, and then you're thinking about the grill. So I knew we needed to do something equally as entertaining, but very different, of course, and that was the birth of Chip Rossetti.